right, Talofa, and welcome into another episode of the 135 Footy Show, Pacific Island perspective on all things NRL and Rugby League. Welcome in the Usos co-hosts from the Counter Ruck, the host, Stace Terianu. How are you, bro? Nice to have you back.
Thanks, Us. Cheers for having me, boys. Good to be on again.
Yeah. We'll get to some of your predictions and the faith you had last time we had you on, Us. So we'll break down some of those discussions. And welcome back, Us. I think you haven't been on since the round 10 when you promised if the Dragons downed your Broncos, you wouldn't jump on again. So it's been a while, bro.
Sky. Yeah, bro. It's been a few weeks, man. And thanks for the shout out a couple weeks ago, man. As you know, I had my new baby boy join my Inga, bro. But I haven't missed a beat. Also, I've been watching a lot of league, been listening in. So, yeah, good to be back, bro.
Nice. Well, it's good to have you back. And yeah, another love to baby Eyez. Good to hear he's doing well. Good to have you back, Us. So let's jump straight into it. Man, probably a key round for us as fans. So we'll get right into that at the end of our usual segments. Kick off with All Eyes. Who stood out to you over the weekend? I'll come to you first, Stace. Your All Eyes player of the weekend.
Yeah, tough one this week. But, just with Origin looming large, I've gone a bit different. So, you think about Origin, it's essentially sucked the headlines out of the competition now. So I'm sure we'll touch on that a bit later. But just thinking about Origin and just how you build that spirit and that camaraderie. It's doing things like pick and stick with your selections. It's trusting the guys that have done a job for you before instead of just chopping and changing and constantly rebuilding from the start. So my all eyes on me goes to Laurie Daly. He's picked the same 17 for game 3 from game 2. And barring an injury to Mitch Barnett, he's trusted the players and said, hey, look, if you put on the sky blue jersey, you can play above yourself and do a great job for your state. And that's what Origin's all about. It's about pick and stick, building that spirit, building New South Wales culture, and building that camaraderie. Those are the hallmarks of Origin folklore. So that man, Laurie Daly, he gets Origin. He gets my all eyes on me for this week. Pick and stick, that's the key to Origin, boys.
Oh, welcome to the party, New South Wales. I'm glad to see you guys are starting to learn what Origin's about. Good to see you starting to build a culture. Dutch, your All Eyes player of the weekend. Hopefully you can bring the conversation up from that start.
Oh, first of all, bro, man, we had awesome 8 games. And we had quite a bit for Stace to pick from. And I'm kind of flabbergasted that you went with Laurie Daly, bro. Like, I mean, he ain't even done anything. He's kept the same team. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll keep it positive. Might come from the first game of the round. Was it last Friday night? Solid. And I can say, bro, that was a real good introduction to finals footy, man. Panthers versus the Doggies. Panthers coming up on top.
Yeah.
But mine goes to Panthers center, Casey McLean. And if you look on the stat sheet, it don't really jump at you too much. He kind of, I think the back 5 there for Penrith, he kind of added, over 100 meters there. It was a real team effort between those back 5. But I just want to mention him because I feel like his defensive work against probably the form center and the best center at the game at the moment, Critter. Man, he was all over Critter. And he actually got Critter, on his toes a couple of times, bro. Because McLean, man, he can stand you up, eh? You can see a little bit of touch footy in his feet. And he's still growing into his body, bro. But I thought it was a bit of a coming-of-age performance from McLean. They've had some big raps on him for a while, Panthers. And taken a few weeks to find his feet. I think that whole Penrith team has taken a little while to adjust and work in these new guys. But yeah, bro, it was awesome to see him. Even the last play of the game, bro, the Doggies had a chance to win it right on that last play. And McLean was all over Critter, bro. Just had him all night. And before that, Critter's been carving centers up before that game. And yeah, bro, All eyes on me this week. Casey McLean, Us.
Nice call out, Us. Yeah, definitely. I've seen even from the last week against the Warriors. Yeah, he is bringing a real attitude to his game. So nice to see him step up, especially against Critter. My one comes from one of the last games in the round, the Storm and the Sharks. Sakatoa. So he was beast in that game. Couple of tries. I think just setting it up from catching the high ball, just stealing it from Kennedy. But man, just his work, eh? I think he got man of the match in that game as well. But yeah, like just knew he was going to a good system when he left the Warriors. Just his potential. So good to see him doing really good. Yeah, and surprised he hasn't been all eyes more often. So yeah, my all eyes goes out to Elikatua. Sai, your Kaea Kele of the weekend.
Yeah, bro. I was contemplating giving it to the Warriors, but they're more the build-ups award. But we don't have that award weekly. We save that for the end of the year. But mine comes out of the Storm versus the Sharks game, and I have to give it to. It kind of pains me because he's one of Samoa's sons. He's awesome every time he pulls on the Tall Samoa jersey. But Ronaldo Mulitalo, the Sharks winger, he's kind of renowned for, and I think this year, man, he's really turned up the volume with his getting into people's faces when opposition make mistakes or when he scores tries, or he's kind of I don't know, I feel like this year's really hard out Mimika. Eh? Anyway, there was part of that game where he made a mistake, and I think he caught the ball. He was in a try-scoring position. Dropped the ball cold, bro, and you could tell that Ryan Peppenhausen, the Storm winger, didn't really get into his face, but he was close enough. So he must have, given it to him verbally. And Mulitalo, bro, grabbed him by the throat, shoved him. And the big problem we've spoken about before, this shit will never happen if you can throw some punches, bro, because you don't get these Mimika wingers with their cheap shit. But he knows he can get away with that. But I give him my award because, Sole, you got to wear that, man. Take it on the chin, bro. You can't react. You made the mistake. Take it on the chin and get back at him, bro. You can't react like that. I was surprised you didn't get a penalty. But yeah, Kaea Kele for me goes to him for if you're gonna give it, you gotta be able to take it. Eyez.
Nice call. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, just his reaction, and like I think Pep's looking at him like, bro, you made a mistake. Let's relax. I'll come to you, Stace, last, but I'll go. My Kaea Kele was one of the officials. I'll go with Dave Munro. With Josh Addo-Carr with an opportunity to set up a scoring play for Parramatta. Those ones that are crucial and they're down the touchline, just let it go upstairs. Leave it for the bunker. That's one time I'd rather just see the bunker, take another look and another look. But because his flag went up, they pulled it back. No try to Addo-Carr, but every angle of that looked like he didn't touch the paint. So Dave Munro got his flag up, and he's my Kaea Kele for robbing the Parramatta Eels. And I had to listen to it all night with my brother drinking here on Saturday night. So it was a good distraction from the Warriors.
I'm surprised they couldn't rule on that, though.
Well, it's in play, I guess that's the thing. It's not like if they'd let it play to the try, I guess then the bunker can go rule on it. But it's in play.
That's the thing. Once he puts his flag up there,
he scored it, right?
The defense is going to stop playing. But yeah, if the touchdown didn't put his flag up, they could go to the
bunker,
to the match review after that. But once he puts his flag up, that stops the play there, stops it cold. So yeah, I'm happy with that call there, Tons, just because if he let it go on, they could have reviewed it and then they could have got the call right. So sometimes you guys got to hold fire, let the play out, and then get the technology involved. But once he put his flag up, that was the end of the play right there.
All right. Stace, your Kaea Kele.
Yeah, I know we sort of talked about this pre-pod, but I'm going for the Tigers. They've just lost 19-year-old Talon De Silva to the Eels, and that's on the back of losing Lockie Galvin to the Bulldogs. So they've obviously trusted Benji to have a say in getting the squad that he wants. But the Tigers just won a wooden spoon after his first season in charge, and they're precariously close to winning another. So his NRL coaching future depends on uplifting the Tigers now and not necessarily preparing them for the future. So that means he has short-sighted goals when it comes to recruitment. So no disrespect to Uppy, he's a gun, but he's 33 and his best years are, in my opinion, behind him. So I think the youngsters like Talon De Silva, they lost Stefano last year, Galvin, I talked about, and Sean Bloor before him. They were essentially all juniors that they needed to keep to future-proof the Tigers. But the short-term planning and job protection from the board and coaching staff means that they've sold their future stars to other clubs. And that style of planning will keep them in this sort of perpetual cycle of underachievement. So the Tigers' recruitment and retention planning. That's my Kaea Kele for the week.
Nice, because there's a topic I want to
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Warriors,
the Tigers in general.
That would never, ever, ever win my Kaea Kele. That would win my team of the century, man.
What?
That would team of the century.
1-9. All right.
Sorry, carry on, Tons.
Nah, but I guess what the Tigers are doing, like you look at the competition and like exactly what you're saying, where Benji's at, like it's a long season, you need these backup players, and they're letting these guys go. Like they need the depth, but and they talked about it on one of those NRL shows because they make a good point. Like, what are they sending? What's the message they're sending to players when, and also like just as a club. When the players say, well, I want to go somewhere where I get to play first grade consistently. But all the good teams have these really awesome players who have to play second fiddle until they get their chance. We had a headache. I guess you look at the Warriors, Tamai Martin, everyone at the end of last year thought that was our team. And then we were like, oh, poor Tamai, he better go look for a new contract. He needs to go somewhere. He's extra to requirement. Whereas you look now, that's part of making sure you've got a squad with depth. So I agree. I'm not sure what's happening with the Tigers, and it makes it really hard for Benji because he needs quick results. Players are getting injured. Like it's just part of the game. Look at Luai. Over the last few weeks, he wants to do more, but his body's, he's been at the top of the game for a long time as well. I don't know. I guess, you always back the players. So when you see... I guess we need these clubs because when you just get a club continually failing, yet we're looking at bringing in the 17th or 18th and 19th new NRL teams. What happens to teams like the Tigers?
Yeah, bro. This one's an interesting one because he's going effective immediately, eh? And I thought Stacey's right. You can see from the player's point of view, bro. If you're De Silva, if you're his family and his agent, bro. Go to somewhere where you can see the opportunity, and I can see happening at the Eels. I forgot their starting nine, but I think he can get regular game time there. And I think the signing of Uppy really put him off there. But Stacey's right, bro. Like I'm surprised the Tigers let him go, man. The Tigers have a bad history, bro. Of this guy De Silva. He's a Campbelltown Junior, which is one of West's, which is their catchment, that's their local. He's come through the West Tigers pathways. But you look at these guys 10 years ago, if they were able to keep Mitchell Moses, what's his name?
Teddy?
Fullback Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's those two, bro. If they were able to keep those two for the last 10 years, bro, they would not be in this predicament.
That's right.
And already this year they've lost two of their juniors, bro. Obviously Galvin and this guy De Silva, and I just thought maybe there was a way, and I even liked the fact that he was coming on doing his 15-20 minutes, giving Uppy a break. So yeah, I'm really surprised the Tigers caved in because he was signed at least to the end of this year. Because they let him go, obviously. He wanted to break contract early, but I can see from the player's point of view, bro, you go where you think suits best. But you can see the differences in the team that's struggling, like Tigers, struggling to re-sign these guys who don't really want to sit behind guys. They want the opportunity. And then you see a club like the Storm, and you see a really decent quality players down there who are willing to stay down there, learn their trade a bit more, bide their time. Because Storm, like, case in point, we'll look at Suafalong, been struggling, bro, with the injury to also their ex-Kiwi7s player. He's been able to play a few games, bro, but Sua would walk into a lot of teams, starting teams, bro, but he just re-signed there. So you see the difference between the low teams and the higher teams. So it was a bit surprising. I don't know, because is that a dumb move from the Tigers, or are they doing the player a favor and go, hey man, if you're not happy here, you go.
No.
But yeah, I just thought that was a bit of you need your best players. If you're fucking 3 wooden Spongy Laos in a row, especially to let them go early,
Yeah.
Well, you brought up a good point. So you think about the Tigers, how they're like, that's a basket case of a club. If you think about the best run clubs, you think of a team like Melbourne. And they signed, like you said, they signed Suafalongo, they signed Howarth and Wishart. They signed them to 5-year deals when no one was chasing them, when they were sort of just coming through the system. But they knew 3-4 years down the track, these guys are going to be the next guns. So it's the future proofing of the club. Once the next generation moves on, these guys are ready. And that's where you get those wins. So you think about in 5 years' time where Galvin, De Silva and these guys are going to be. These guys are going to be guns. So you got to do that. Like, how did the Tigers get out of the slump? They paid exorbitant amounts of money for Luai, and they have to because no one wants to go there. They got to pay overs. So the real way of getting out is building juniors and bringing them through. And they can't be tossing them aside. Otherwise, they're stuck in this never-ending cycle, because I reckon De Silva's going to be good. Galvin's going to be good. Stefano, who they let go last year, is going to be good. They've let go some of their best juniors. Yeah. And so where's the next generation coming through? And that's where I'd have an issue with the guys who are making decisions. Because like you said, Tons, these guys' heads are on the chopping block. They're not trying to think about what's going to happen in 5 years because they might not be there. They're like, oh, we're going to win now. Benji has to win now. So he's like, well, Uppy, I'm signing you. De Silva, you can go. And, the board is under pressure as well. They're trying to get wins now. So they're like, yeah, keep Uppy. Don't worry about these other guys. We'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. But that's just not a effective long-term strategy. You're just stuck in these cycles which they're in. So I think they had to trust the juniors and build them up.
Well, especially like you're saying, off the back of all those spoons. But I don't know, Si, like, how did you guys jump back? We never had that problem, but to get back to where the Broncos
they had this company,
from
one of their sponsors. One of their sponsors makes these brown paper bags, which they full of cash at the back.
Exactly, you just buy it in. You got revenues like that.
We never have a problem with juniors. We have a problem of picking the right ones. Which ones are going to stick, man? It's the same problem that the Warriors have. You got the best catchment. You'll never have any shortage of kids coming through. But that's the big question mark recruitment wise. Who are the ones that you need to stick with? Who are the ones that you're not strong and you got like game managers? Do you have good back five? You need to go out and then get them. But it seems like a club like West Tigers, bro, just keep digging themselves holes, bro. It's hard to get out of, especially when you've been cellar dwellers for a while, bro. But I don't know. We probably only had a bit of around that Broncos really suffered it once, really, with around that COVID time. It was deep, dark times there, bro. But I don't know.
All right, we'll leave the Tigers to it. I guess, they need results, and that's probably the only way they're going to get out of the headlines. They're kind of in the worst place you can be. Things off field and their problems on field too. All right, Origin 3 teams have been named. Let's get your views on that. We're next Wednesday, was the game. I'll be over in Samoa, so hopefully there's somewhere to watch the game over there.
You can hide. It's not going to change.
Everyone's a Queenslander in Samoa, so it should be good. Stace, we'll start with your team. Your thoughts, pick and stick, not much to say. Injury-wise, though, a few players there. In question, you got any updates on your team?
Not really. I know Tu'u's under an injury cloud, but by all accounts, he's going to play. So they've got Jacob Carrez there as 18th man, just as some potential injury cover there. But all in all, yeah, not really much to add on my team, to be fair. I love the faith that Laurie has. It also means we can hit the ground running because there's no need to spend the early part building those combinations, getting to know each other. That was all done throughout the series already. They've all played together now. So it's just starting on the refinement and knuckling down on the core roles for each position. So I'm pretty excited. I think I'm not quietly confident. I am loudly confident that we're going to win it quite easily. So I like our team. And some of the guys need to prove themselves a little bit after game 2. And I love that Laurie's given them that opportunity. That's how you build team morale there.
Question marks over Nathan Cleary's groin. Maybe we saw the general play kicking didn't go too well with Luai, so he needs to be kicker, like you were saying, that long kick. Yeah. Is there a different game plan if we can't get that kick game out of Cleary?
Well, I thought, Sai touched on that game earlier with the Panthers and the Bulldogs. So I watched that game just to really see how Cleary was going. And he did a lot of the general kicking. So it feels like he's getting back to where he should be. So I don't have any real concerns over that per se. They've brought in Katoa as sort of an emergency guy, but I'd be surprised if he gets on. I've got faith that Cleary's okay. Goal kicking wise, I'm not sure if he's going to be doing it. Those are different types of sort of kicking to general play. They use different types of muscles as well. So I think Lomax might still keep the goal kicking duties. But the tactical kicking, I'm happy with Cleary. I think he's over that injury. So I think he'll be fine. And we saw that on Thursday.
Sorry, any question marks over this team? There was comments about maybe Stefano not being as effective, but he's been named again outside of that.
But on paper, it's the same as game 1, game 2. On paper, a better team, but you don't win the football games on paper. I thought maybe Max King, I think he kind of was probably the quietest out of that whole pack. And I think Martin and Crichton, they were quiet as well. Haas does most of their work. And the back 3 there for New South Wales, man, just allows that forward pack to just concentrate on their defense, bro. But all in all, man, they're strong all over the park, bro. Their bench is strong. Nothing real. If New South Wales lose this game, you can't blame Laurie, as Stacey said. He given him the All Eyes on Me award for picking the same team. And even before the series, I think that was probably the best team on paper. You could argue with Mitchell Musse. A fit Mitchell Moses probably be in there. But this could be one of the greatest build-ups of all time if New South Wales don't get it done.
Fair call. Stace, we'll chuck it back over to you. For the Maroons team, we'll start with...
Yeah, that's the third left centre of the series now for Queensland with Shibasaki. So to me, that speaks to the difficulty that Queensland's have had sort of in containing Critter at right centre. So he carved Hammer in game 1. He didn't get enough ball in game 2, but he still made Holmes look defensively quite shaky. So I like the idea of Shibasaki at centre. I know there was talks of potentially bringing Reece Walsh in a fullback, but then you're picking Holmes or Hammer at centre, who's already been carved up comfortably from Critter. So I actually quite like that selection of Shibasaki. He's a big guy, and you think it's not really up to him to win the game. They've got guys like Munster and Harry Grant. It's those guys who have to win it. You think of someone like Shibasaki, if he got, say, 100 run meters and makes all his tackles, that's good enough. He's done his job. And I think he can do that. But on the flip side, from New South Wales side, I would like to see Critter get more early ball to take him on. Just because, it's the biggest game Shibasaki's ever played. And Critter is the best centre in the game. So I still like that matchup, even though I agree with the selection of Shibasaki there.
Nice. Si, you're a Broncos man. He's been a standout this year. Turned up for a training trial.
Yes. Yeah, bro. What a journey, man. From the start of the year, not having no contract. I'm pretty yeah, I think he's pretty safe, man. He's definitely going to help out the back five, bringing the ball back. He's got that in his arsenal. I think Stacey's off the mark here when and I know it's a third option this series in that starting setup, but I don't think like the Hammer was marking him game one. Ain't no one carving Hammer, bro. Just it's easy to get
you
front foot
you weren't on
ball
the pod when everyone said he was missing.
the defensive line going back. Hey, it's easy. It's easy to make meters on your opposition when you're getting good ball on a platter. I don't even think he carved them up, bro. Too much. He just did his job.
He carved them up, man.
Nah, bro. I don't remember too many line breaks down Hammer's way. If we flip the script and Hammer gets that ball, that service, Hammer's running circles around Critter, bro. Every time Hammer got the ball, backward flat foot ball, easy money for Critter. Game 2. I understand where that was a good move from Billy, bringing Holmes in and Hammer on the outside, and we saw especially with Hammer getting that first try. I just feel like it's, I don't know. I was a bit, I was on a high after that Warriors game, and I thought, shit, man, Walsh looks hungry, especially his running game. We all know what he can do with the ball in hand. I'm setting other people up, but I just thought he was physical. He was running through guys, and I just thought maybe he's just that offers a little bit extra, especially if it's going to be hard to get parity with the forwards. Just having that third ball player. But I also can see where Billy's coming from, bro. Him has probably shown better form all year over Walsh. And it just frees up his running game. He can try him into the back line from anywhere, different angles. So, yeah, man, I'm happy with it. Like I said, Shibasaki, he adds a bit of he's safe on defense, bro. He's just got to make his tackles. And like I said before, he will help the boys out bringing the ball out, which has been the big difference of the whole series, bro. The back five, man, and Edwards, Tor, and Lomax. These are the best back three of the comp in terms of bringing the ball out of your own half. You've seen the big difference. You're seeing in the game 2, we kind of nullified that with our some mean first up tackles in the play 1, 2, and 3. Not so much in the second half, but those three get if Queensland can come out of their half comfortably, and give Munster and Dearden some good quality ball. We saw what we did on the first half in game 2. Dearden, bro, plays so close to the line. He's so dangerous at squaring up that defense. It's going to be dangerous with Hammer floating in the background there, bro. So, and then sorry to take up some more time, boys, but we've got to give some love to Papali'i, man. I was happy with that pick. I know he come out of retirement, but with him and Tino there starting, bro, I think we can nullify what Haas can bring, bro. You know, Cotter, Capewell played probably the best game of his life I've seen in game 2, man. And Cotter was just fucking smashing everyone, man, like fucking, remember old Trevor Goldmeister days. I like the look of the bench. Before game 2, I was like, fuck Leo, fuck number 13, what the fuck? But he's just a toiler, bro. He does his work. And I think Carrigan coming off the bench is some good impact, bro. Nanai and Kurt Mann and Collins. We saw what Collins did off the bench, old Spencer Legill. He weren't going to fucking run back to him after that. So I think he's made some good adjustments to the team to nullify some of the strengths that New South Wales have on paper, bro. So, I don't know, man. 50-50, 50-50.
Nice, boys. Panthers Klein getting the nod at referee for the final game. Your thoughts on that, Stace? You reckon you'll let it flow?
I hope so. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a conspiracy theory because, obviously Game 2, Queensland got all the calls. 8-0 penalty count in the first half, which is ridiculous. But if you think back to last year, New South Wales was 1-0 down, and then they got all the calls as well. So it feels like, I don't know, maybe in my tinfoil hat, that they always want that decider. But there's no way Queensland will get that many penalties 8-0 again in this game. And you think about what happened in Game 2, you know. They had that penalty count, which I mentioned. New South Wales actually scored 5 tries to Queensland 4. It was only superior goal kicking that won them that game. So Queensland got a bit lucky, to be honest. And they won't get that same luck again with the calls. So you take the calls out, you know, I don't know where they get it done. Game 3 in Sydney.
I thought
the referee's
one of those
non-factor for me now.
Were penalty.
Every single one, you can make that argument, but my issue is with the 0 that Queensland got. There's no way they were perfect. There were some penalties that New South Wales should have got. So I'm not arguing with the 8 New South Wales were ill-disciplined. It's the 0 that I've got a problem with. And it was actually 9-0. We challenged one which got reversed because it was an EDAS call. And so that's the issue that I've got. The 0.
Did you want 20 penalties in the first half? Is that what you wanted? Okay.
I wanted fair calls. The calls that Queensland got weren't getting the same the other way. So it wasn't 50-50. That's my only issue. And to be fair, just to be balanced, New South Wales got those same calls in Game 2 last year. So I feel like it's more we want a decider because Origin is the massive moneymaker for the NRL.
Maybe, but I think the players still dictate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you get an 8-0 penalty count and you're only winning by 1 point and you score 2 points and you're scoring less tries, I mean, it feels like you got all the help you could possibly get to win that game. If there was an even penalty count, I think we wiped the floor with you like we did in Game 1.
We shall see.
That silence tells me
you shoulda.
Thanks, boys.
Nice, boys. Quickly, we'll come back to actually. We'll quickly just touch on the ARL. So they want to bring in. You mentioned it, Stace. They want to try and see if they can bring in a ruling, so that they can overrule certain calls made by the match review committee. Kind of like in respects to, you know, where there's something's happened, incident on the field, and they've given a player 6 weeks, whatever. So it's an overruling power which they want, and so I guess my mind immediately just goes to why would, like, the MRC is independent for a reason, and so the RLPA, so the Players Association, don't like it either. Because there's reason, you know, especially if you're playing against a team who unfairly shouldn't have that player on the field. But now it sounds like they want to have the power to make a call and maybe push for promotional reasons, whatever reason, a player might need to play in a certain game and push the punishment to next year or something. So that's kind of my understanding of it. Just your guys' view on that, like I don't even know the details on which ones they'd be able to kind of overturn, but just the fact that the MRC is there for a reason and it's independent for a reason, but now the body wants to have a hand to be able to kind of now and then overrule it. Dutch, your thoughts on it? Just the implications it can have, especially with the Players Association not liking it either.
Yeah, I like having the independent match review committee, especially it's always full of a lot of ex-players, but. I can see where, and as a Kiwi living in Australia, as a Samoan, where the positives in this might come with post-season shit, representative shit. Should it rule you out what you do in clubland? Should that rule you out of representative jerseys? I mean, we're talking about money here. We're talking about your earning a living. Not only that, we're talking about the honor of representing your family. So, does that change that? Is that what they're trying to bring in to be able to overcall those kind of things? Yeah, that's. I don't think about it. I don't even know if it does or not. But it would be cool if say you're in the grand final and you get 3 weeks for a head high. I don't think this should count towards representative football. I think you should just start that 3 weeks come next year. If you're retiring, too bad. If you're going Super League, too bad. or maybe do it in Super League. But why do the Super League fans have to suffer for your, I just bring that up because we've seen a lot of Kiwis and Islanders being ruled out for playing for their country because of it. But yeah, that was just my little short ramble. I'm really just looking forward to this Warriors Broncos review.
That's good. Well, I better drag this on a bit longer because I don't want to talk about that. Now, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. The independence is the key part because you think about the ARLC, the commission, they're in charge of the whole game, including the financial situation. So that's a good point you bring up about rep football. If some gun players, Nathan Cleary or whoever, was to miss an Origin match, are they going to come in over the top to allow them to play? Because that's the moneymaker for the NRL. I mean, and talk about some of the rep footballs, they might consider playing for Samoa and that not that much money for them. So like, yeah, miss those Samoa games, but make sure you play in the NRL because we need those bums on seats to watch these gun players play. And that's where the independent part is significant because the ARLC commission, if they come over the top, are they coming over the top because they think that the call was wrong and they're trying to correct it? Or are they coming over the top because we need to make money out of these players and we need them to be available for the most important games type things? So you lose that independence. And that's where I'm siding with the RLPA, the Players Association. They do not like the call because they appreciate the independence and they feel that the players get a fairer hearing because it's independent. The Match Review Committee don't really care if you miss 1 week or 12 weeks or miss this game or miss the preseason or whatever. They just give the rulings and whatever games you miss is the games you miss. Yeah. And I think that's fairer. So I don't know why the ARLC is coming in over the top.
Nice, boys. All right. Let's get into the review of last round. We've been trying to avoid as long as we can. We're running out of time, so let's do this. Warriors taking on the Broncos at Suncorp. So, was that a double hitter? I saw they after the game, it was cleared out before the Dolphins game.
Well,
did they advertise it like a double hitter? Or not?
So in that sense, it wasn't really a double hitter because it was separate games, right? Because double hitter usually at the same crowd
so
for both.
Everyone out.
So they had the Broncos home game, kicked them out, and then the ones that paid a ticket for, because double hitters usually you pay one ticket for the price of 2 games, right?
Yeah, but both.
Yeah, they had a Broncos game and then they had a Dolphins game, so that was interesting.
Yeah, I guess probably trying to prove if they can fill it out both for justify each team using that as home, maybe. Anyway,
sorry, just on it, there was after the Broncos Warriors game, there was the Dragons Eels played in Sydney, and then there was the Dolphins Rabbitohs. So there was a 2-hour break in between. So it wasn't a back-to-back doubleheader, and I think that might be why they were clearing it out.
Yeah.
I saw them,
and I'm glad they did that. Right?
What's our next topic now, boys?
I'm glad they did that because when the Warriors supporters over here, they're feral, bro. They forgot that they moved over. They think they stole at Mount Smart, so I had to give them a chance, a whole game to get out of that stadium, bro, because they were causing trouble, man. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Right. That's why I can't get bloody tickets, man. All these Maoris getting into the game.
But man, I guess that's the way they've been traveling. Everywhere they go, they have a good supporting base in all the regions at the moment, especially in the Queensland burbs. So, man, you could hear them coming through the TV. Tough game, just an arm wrestle. But, man, those injuries killed us. I think Dallin was a huge miss for us. Even in the Panthers game after his injury. And man, Gossi
went all right.
Was costly.
Shit, that was my guy, Kele. I forgot about him.
I felt sorry for him, man. He's been, he was kind of thereabouts last year. Then Tane came in, and then there's been a few shuffles, and maybe just, I don't know how he's been going in the reserves, because everyone's, been playing gun at that level, and so you'd think, I don't know if just the pace is just that much of a step up, where he hasn't been in that fold for a while, but that ball that he got, he should have caught.
Yeah.
Stace, I'll let you go.
Yeah, a frustrating game, like you mentioned, Tons. We talk a bit about the importance of the spine. So to lose the fullback and the halfback mid-game, that's a bit of a death knell for a lot of teams. So I was proud of the Warriors' fight. That's a trait that we've had all season, and that's why we're in the top 4. But credit to the Bronx. I remember when I was on here last time, sort of a few weeks back, we all agreed the Broncos, when they're on, man, they could beat anyone in the comp. But the key thing we needed to see from them was consistency. So to their credit, they've won 3 wins in a row now. So we're starting to see that consistency come through just before the finals, which is good for them. But just that Kusi, I agree with you. You think about he's always been rocks and diamonds, eh? So he got a lot of rocks in the first bit. So I thought, the diamonds must be coming.
It's got a 10.
It was just rocks after rocks after rocks. So I'm not sure. We've got the bye this week. I'm not sure where we turn to. We needed that bye, to be fair, to regroup after back-to-back losses. But, a frustrating game. Mate, you guys talk us through your side.
Oh, is that it? That's a short one, Oos? Damn.
Oh, you know me.
I just want to... you got to keep the same energy when you guys win and lose, Oos. But I just want to tell the listeners out there, the viewers, that they missed out on some gold Pokalame, because we were about to do a instant match review, which would have been good, man, But something must have happened to Stacey and Bob's internet connection. Must have been gold when they chucked a remote at it. But anyway, bro, it was an awesome game for the Broncos, bro. That was probably their best performance of the year. They needed a performance like that. The previous they had a bye previously, and then they beat the Titans. So the 4 points the 2 points was crucial, but just the performance wise against the top 4 team, against probably one of the most consistent teams of the comp, where they needed to be physical, they needed to be high completion rate, and they got all that. And then on top of that, when you got you can give Reynolds, you can give Reece Walsh, Ezra Mam some quality ball, and a lot of it, you'll get tries from it, man. And I thought that first half was only 18-0, but they Shibasaki bombed a couple. With some awesome stuff from Shans to hold up Reece Walsh. I think Reece Walsh could have, so it could have easily been like 30-0, man. I don't even think the Warriors had too bad of a game. I just think that if you can starve them a bit of ball, and I just don't think that their forwards for the Warriors gave Metcalf enough. Metcalf is a running half, likes to run, but he didn't have that. He didn't get that red carpet to run, bro.
Willison was a beast, man.
And a lot of what the Warriors threw. A lot of what the Warriors threw, I think the Broncos absorbed it and was like, "What was that? An exhibition?" They kept them quiet, bro, and it showed. The first tackle of the game, bro. Fisher Harris, bro, hit up from the try line, and Kamalo went 10 meters back. So that's always a bad omen, eh? First tackle of the game. But he was, he got to hold his head up high. And I think you guys are missing the other the New South Welshman that got injured.
Barney.
Sorry, man, help me out here. I forgot his name.
Yeah, Mitch Barnett.
Yeah, Mitch Barnett. But those guys put on the platform and give Wayne Egan a bit of time to do his thing, and then you see guys like Leka, Vaimaunga. These are the ones that do a bit of damage on the edges. But I thought Broncos held their own, and what's pleasing for me is that Haas didn't really have to do too much, bro. He played 55 minutes, which I was happy about, because Madge since the beginning of the season has been fucking pumping him, bro. 70 minutes plus, almost fucking 80 minutes.
I need him
sometimes
to be tired next Wednesday.
But yeah, bro, a lot of players put their hand up. I think Piakura was strong. I think his hit on Metcalf, that was sicky, bro. A lot of the time, I think a lot of these halves get away with fucking bullshit with the timing of it. But the whole time I thought that Metcalf had the ball in his hand, so that was fair as, and we see he didn't even get penalised for it. But just in and around that, I think defensively he's learned to. We all know he can hit, but I love the lines he can run, and just that side with him and Ezra Mam, that can open up a bit more danger down that side, bro. Yeah, it's still it's not enough for me to say premiership contenders, bro. But I think it's a start. I think it's a start to have these performances, especially defensively, to hold the Warriors to 12. But they haven't sold me. But they're still on a chance with the 8. And if they can just make the 8, bro, I'll be happy, bro. Because Broncos have the team to kill anyone on their day. So if they can just get into the 8. I think a lot of teams will be worried, eh? But yeah, down to you this.
Nice. Before I go back to you, Stace, Sai, your thoughts on the Warriors' aspirations? Losing some key Metcalf out for the rest of the season, and some shuffle. So we got the bye, like Stace said, we got a bit of time to regroup. But their run home, like couple of weeks ago, everyone was on a high. They're guaranteed top 4. Your thoughts on the Warriors from here on out, finishing out the season now? Their aspirations.
I think it's a
still
huge
see them
loss.
top 4.
Still see them top 4. Metcalf's a huge loss, but I think there's enough in Tevin Harris and to Maiden Martin, because he's always no one gives him enough credit, but I think he showed last year in a large part of, because he was the starting half when Sean Johnson wasn't there. He's got enough to be the general, but they lose a bit of potency with not having Metcalf there, because Metcalf is a game breaker. So I think they lose a bit of that. I think more importantly is what's his name? Shan's being out.
Looks that.
But then I don't know how serious that injury is. They got the bye, so that might help
4
out.
weeks, I think.
But in saying that,
yeah.
Roger was mean. Roger was fucking hot.
Roger's
One of the highest meter runners for the Warriors. I think they're sure of a top 4 spot. I had a look at their run home, easiest run home out of all the teams. I think they play one top 4 team and one top 8 team. Everyone else they play outside the 8. So obviously they're the NRL's giving them a leg up before the season. But they got enough to get to the 8, bro, and they got that style where they don't really rely on superstar players. It was nice to have Metcalf to pull something out of the hat. When it comes to the finals, you probably need those players, but if they got the forwards and the youngins there to make it. But bro, I don't know if they can make the 4, then anything's possible. But I just don't see them going all the way, man. I could probably see it with Metcalf there and everyone else fit. Now, I don't know, bro. Now I think Stacey might have to put his tickets on Trade Me.
Shit.
Yeah, Stace, your thoughts are, like we've spoken about the depth of the guys, but similar to the doggies, like I guess people look at the rosters and we've, I guess class coaching as well, bringing through these players, like the same as the doggies, being able to take a lot of journeyman kind of players and bringing them together, like no out and out stars, like both teams. But in the back end, when it comes finals times, is that where we may get tripped up, or do you still believe we've got a team here?
I still believe, though it's a lot harder. So I'll probably put us in the, there's teams ahead of us, I'll definitely for sure. But the Warriors, I think I touched on some really good points. The Warriors have got a solid game plan. So we don't blow teams off the park, really. We grind a lot of close wins and get the dub in the back end. And that style will work for us and still hold up well. So Barnett, I think of the guys, I think Barnett is the biggest loss. But we still got Fisher Harris. He's the Kiwis captain. He's one of the best going around. We've got Aaron Clark. He's got that leg speed and ball playing. So that makes our middles hold up quite well. We've got strong workaholic carriers in the back three, so RTS and Chance, even though he's out for a month. And we've got one of the best ball-playing hookers in Egan to provide that ball play and guide the forwards around the park. So the game plan is there, and the personnel is there to execute, despite some of those big losses which we talked about. So I think we just need to simplify our games and win them that way. But, there's that old adage that, no team in the NRL era has ever won the premierships from outside the top four. So if we can hold our spot in the top four, and I think we will with Simon, then history says we will be a contender. So I am still believing, and I'm not selling my tickets yet.
Nice. All right, yeah, we get the bye this week, so it'll be interesting to see who they end up pulling in for that personnel. Nice. Any thoughts on the Broncos before we move on, Stace? Your thoughts on, like you're saying, wanted to see some consistency. You're probably going to miss a lot of players this week against the Doggies. They're missing personnel as well. But your thoughts on them? You see them bouncing back into the 8 now?
Yeah, I think they'll be finishing in the top 8. But like I said, no team outside the top 4 has ever won it. You think about in the NRL era, so that's from 1998 till now. That's 25, close to 30 years. So I rate the Broncos highly. I think they've look like they're figuring it out. Are they a team that can rewrite history and do something that's never been done before and win it from outside the top 4? I don't think that they're that team. So I'm with Simon. I think if they can get in the top 4, then I'll put them in that category just because of the history. But if they hold in that 5th spot or wherever, I think they'll have a good series. They'll have a good season. They'll be in the finals, but they can't win it. They can't be the team that ends the history. So it's going to be crucial games coming up because the Warriors, the wheels are falling off a little bit and the Broncos are coming strong. So that battle for 4th and 5th, that's going to get quite interesting. And whoever wins it, I will put them in the contenders category just based on the history. So at this stage with the Broncos in 5th, I don't see them as contenders just based on what we've seen historically.
Nice, Wolves. Glad we got it through that. All right, let's move on to Isaiah Kalava Cup. Stacey's still sitting pretty there at the top of the table. God Squad coming in 2nd. Nacho in 3rd. I'm hanging in there at 4th. Mandingo took me out over the weekend. And Ultimate Manly rounding out the 6th. Via Bronx tumbling you down into 9th, mate. What's happening there, buddy? Struggling over the last few weeks, these bye rounds.
Yeah, bro, it's been a funny. You know what, man? I've had some really top scoring teams, but when it comes to game day, bro, I just been losing to people pulling out either scores, bro. Like when I look at the table, look how many points I've scored, bro. I've just been guys have been winning against me when some of their Kaea players have just been scoring, bro. But hey, man, there's still enough time, bro, and it's I think it was I'm like a couple of wins out of the top 4. Really, we got these nuts.
Oh, you sound like the Titans.
You're at 4th spot, bro. With 8 wins. I'm at 9th with 6 wins. So, Kaea, mate, Kaea, even Clutch City. I don't know if this guy's changing his name or not, but he's still in with a chance. Just 2 points out of the top 6, bro. So that's all we need. Once we're
6 weeks until semi-finals, mate. 6 weeks. So you need to start climbing the table. Stacey,
couple wins. Kaea, mate. No, Stacey,
it's been a while since we had you on, mate.
Yeah, the table looks similar to the actual NRL table where there's a clear top 4 and then there's a slog jam of teams. But in our table, we've got a clear top 3 and then there's a log jam there. I feel a bit, I don't know what's going on because I haven't been that good, to be honest. So to be top of the table, agree. I've had some jammy wins, 2 point wins, but the wheels are falling off a bit. I've lost Metcalf every week. I've lost Metcalf this week. I lost Plath the week before. Lost Gilbert. Just losing a player a week to season-ending injuries. So I'm struggling at the moment to field a team. But I'm glad we played through the Origin period because, like I said, there's opportunities there. Well, I've been struggling the last sort of month or so, but just holding on. So,
Nice. Your strategy entering the back end of the season, Stace. You buying and trading much at the moment, or you holding your players and just taking the hits now?
I'm gonna try and make some moves because I feel like I'm top of the table, but I don't think I can win it. Almost. So I'm going to try to make some moves closer to the finals. Teams are starting to get desperate to make that top 6. So I'm going to use that desperation to my advantage and try and send them some trades to say, hey, look, you need this guy this week. See what I can do.
There you go, Roger.
But yeah,
look for the trades, Roger.
I don't think I can win.
Nice, boys. All right, let's get into our previews. Before we hit our normal previews, NRLW kicking off tomorrow night. The Sharks taking on the Eels. You guys looking forward to any of the been keeping up? Looking forward to any of the players, any of the teams? Stace, the Warriors. You are looking forward to seeing Kaea coming across to the Warriors?
Yeah, I am actually. It's good to see. You think about the NRLW, the NRL in general, they've flooded the NRLW with money. They see this as a massive potential for growth, and the players that they've been able to come over who have made an immediate impact have been players from sevens. So you think about Waka, she was Dalian Wing of the Year last year. You think about Nathan Wong and Gail Broughton, they're former sevens players. That was the Kiwis halves last year. So definitely, I think Michaela Blyde, obviously a 7 superstar, she's going to be one to watch. But just looking at our team, the Warriors, a player that I'm really excited to see is Patricia Maliepo. So she's named to start at 6 for the Warriors. So obviously I do the Counter Ruck, the rugby podcast for ARL Network, and she's from Rugby Union, but she won back-to-back Super Rugby titles with the Blues, and she won the World Cup with the Black Ferns. Yeah, so she's like a 10-15 hybrid in Union, similar to Bowden Barrett, D-Mac, that style of player. So she's got the educated kicking game, gun ball playing, but more importantly, like those two guys I just mentioned, that run first mentality. And I've always thought that style of player could make a real fist of league. So I'm really excited to see her go. Patricia Malepo, 5'8" for the Warriors.
Nice call out. So, you looking forward to the NRLW? Keeping an eye on the girls teams there?
Like you guys, I'm looking forward to
your
girls from the Warriors, man. Coming back in, some quality girls there, especially coming across from Union and from Sevens. One player in particular from the Broncos, looking forward to Shalom Sowaso, who this girl's been carving up in the age grade reps over the last few years. So she's on the interchange for the Broncos, and Sharks captain, New South Wales, 5'8", Tana Pintana, one of my favorite players going around, bro. She's been there, done that, bro. But she's a highly skilled individual, man. So I'm looking forward to a big season from Tiana. All the best skills. Good to see some footy back.
Yeah, nice. Hopefully we can catch up and talk more about the girls' season. It's finally kicked off. It's been a long wait for them too. They try and align it so they can kind of get the back end at the same time as us. So yeah, we'll try and keep an eye on the progress, but looking forward to those games kicking off. Into our normal NRL preview rounds, kicking it off. Your Bronx, Simon, like we said, missing a few players, same as the Doggies, over there at a core stadium. How are you seeing this one, Si?
Yeah, solid, big game, bro, for the Broncos, especially coming off that, there's these two heavyweights in a row, Warriors and Doggies at the moment, this point in time. So I think the loss of the Origin Stars kind of offsets it, like balances it out. But there's still quality there in the Bronx to do some damage. Doggies, big loss of Critter. But I think the Doggies' consistency this season puts them in good stead. So they'll probably go out there as favourites, as they are, $1.50 favourites. But I'm looking forward to a couple of things, bro. Cobbo, I hope he comes with that mindset, like he wants to fucking give it to the Broncos for offering him for low balling him, bro. But Willison starting after he single-handedly just sullied the Warriors pack on his own last week. It's good to see him starting, bro. And I've been singing that out all year to see him start. So yeah, bro. I think this is gonna be one of those nitty-gritty ones, but I'm gonna pick the Broncos, bro, in a close game.
Stace?
Yeah, I'm sorry a little bit. 2nd versus 5th. So both teams missing 4 players out due to Origin, which is a bit of a shame with the scheduling that we don't get to see sort of all the best players on show to satisfy the blockbuster that this should be. Galvin on the bench again is interesting to see how they get him into the game. So I thought they got it wrong last weekend, so when they played the Panthers, because when Galvin came on, Sexton moved to hooker, and that meant they only had the one long kicker in general play, which was Matty Burden. And then Cleary, to his credit, he recognised that, and he put a ton of kick pressure on Burden, and that charge down that he got for the try that ultimately won them the game. But it exposed some deficiencies in changing the halfback mid-game, which who does that? Changing the halfback mid-game. So, they essentially put on a running 5'8" in Galvin. So I'm interested to see if other teams like the Broncos this week try to exploit that, or if Serraldo sort of mixes his tactics up a bit and plays it out a bit differently. But I remember the Broncos gave the Dogs a bit of a hiding sort of earlier this season. And you think the Dogs, they're quite a proud club. They'll want to put that right. So I think the passion of the Dogs to prove a point and get one back on the Broncos, I think that's strong enough to get them home. So I'll go the Dogs in a close one. Dogs by 6.
Quickly before we move on, your guys' thoughts on the Origin 18th man? Both these teams miss a player because of they're both standing down because of being 18th man for Origin. But the game's a 5-day turnaround. They play Friday. They get 5 days rest before they come back to play Origin next Wednesday. Big game in the context of the Broncos season, at least. And to not have those guys available. Your thoughts, Stace?
Yeah, it can be a bit tough. I know Matty Burden's been 18th man a lot, so and that's tough for them, particularly if their 18th man doesn't get used. So I wonder if they could do it a bit differently, maybe have the 18th man from a team that has a bye. But, the Origin is the cash cow, and the integrity of Origin has to hold up. So I think that they just have to pick who they want, New South Wales and Queensland, and the clubs just have to suck it up. So, it's harsh, but it is what it is,
So I'm a supporter of both camps, so for you to lose Reece Walsh, you'd prefer him to miss Bronx if it means he's there to pat the boys on the back to get the Origin win?
Nah, I'm not a fan, bro. I think they should be available to play their club game. And then, because you know what? Nine times out of 10, they fucking don't play. Or even higher than that. And the only way they can come on is if the game is if someone gets ruled out due to foul play, due to injury or something like that.
Exactly.
Yes. So, why not give them the fucking? And if you play the whole game and you've got 5-day turnaround or whatever it is, what are the chances that you're going to come on in the first minute of the game? Nah. But if you have to come on, I don't think it's too much of a issue, bro. I was quite pissed off they put him at 18th man. Maybe Billy's a bit worried with the cover out in the backs, but he's got Kurt Mann there. But fuck it, at least have him as 19th, 20th, because those guys can go back and play for their clubs, can't they? But yeah, I don't know. This is my gaming, man. He should be fucking our fullback and Cobbo on the wing. But anyway,
interesting to know Josh Kerr's a Queenslander. Yeah, Josh Kerr. All right. Move on to the next game. The Raiders and the Dragons. The Raiders probably due for a loss, but they're going good guns, and I think you said the Warriors run home is good, but nah, the Raiders are pretty much pegged to be minor premiers at the moment. And this looks like they're just gonna go 5 on the trot with this, maybe. Where's this score? Stace, how do you see this?
Yeah, Raiders at home, always tough to beat considering the year that they've had. Not a game that I suppose for myself that I'm personally excited about with these two teams, but you know it's quite tough to do these selections with Origin players out, and we don't know what influence that's going to have on the overall result. So normally Raiders at home against Dragons, that will be an easy pick. You take Papali'i out and whoever else they've got out, then it's a different story. So I'm taking the Raiders at home just on their current form. For no other reason, but I'll take the Raiders by 12 on that one.
So, Raiders Dragons.
Yeah, I'm the same, bro. Even with the loss of Papali'i, I think the Raiders, that's their only loss, bro. And they got a pretty good replacement there. With Forsberg coming off the bench, so I'm not sold on the Dragons. I think they're still a bit figuring shit out, whereas Raiders, bro, they're title contenders, bro. So Raiders for me, but not by much. Be a close game.
Yeah, all of three of us going Raiders. Cowboys Storm. Storm not usually affected, but not so much. Probably Harry Grant and money. And Tui Kamanu as well, since he's part of the fold. Cowboys missing Dearden. I have to go Storm. So up there in Townsville. I saw you got the kids across to watch your cuz Thomas. Good to see him back in the fold, doing well, getting some minutes as well.
Yeah, bro, it was good. It was good to watch another game live. Cowboys not sold that they played well in the first half, but they let the Titans in for a little sniff.
Yeah.
So I'm still not sold on them, and even missing Munster, it's hard for me to pick them against the Storm, bro. Especially not having your number one halfback there. Clifford, he's been hot and cold, man. He lost his position, but for a few weeks, but he's managed to fight his way back in with Purdue going back to centre. But they kind of offset each other, the loss of Munster and the loss of Dearden, but I just think that Storm, they'll just be humming along, bro. So even though it's at Townsville, and I hope the Nef's not listening to this podcast, but yeah, Storm by 13 plus.
He just unfollowed us after that, man. But this could be a good matchup. Quite tough with the Origin guys out. But Drinkwater against Pappenhausen. So to me, that's a contest worth watching. Two electric fullbacks and some of the better ball-playing guys. I'm going to take the Storm as well on faith. But like I said before, hard to do the predictions with so many guys out. But just the Storm have historically been guns so they can win. And they're used to playing through the Origin period with a lot of stack of guys out. So I think they're used to carrying on through it. I'll take the Storm just on faith. And I'll go Storm by 6 on that one.
All right. The Roosters coming off the bye versus the Tigers. Man, the Tigers really need to get their game on, but the Roosters looking good. I'm going to go Roosters. They're looking real good. Stace?
Yeah. Tough one. We talk a bit about the spine on the support a lot. So you think about at the start of the season who the Tigers had. So they had Drew Buller, Lockie Galvin, Luai, and Uppy. That spine is good enough. That's pretty decent. You think that could propel them into the top 8 potentially. But looking at this team today that they've announced, so they got Taruva, Adam Dewey, Latu Fainu, and Tristan Hope. That is a shadow of the team that would have got the Tigers fans' hopes up. So the Tigers are desperate for a win. And if they're going to win a game, this has to be the one. You think, I'm just looking at some of the players that they got out. Now, the Roosters are there for the taking. I just don't have any faith in the Tigers, so I'm also going to go with you, Tuns. I'm going to go for the Roosters. Unfortunately for the Tigers, I'll go Roosters by 8 on that one.
So, how you seeing this, mate?
Yeah, I'm the same, bro. I'll just piggyback that Roosters. If they had all their players, bro, I'd pick the Tigers for an upset. But I just think losing Uppy and losing Jerome Buller, as well as your captain in Jerome, that's too much outs, bro. And we haven't seen too much of Taruva at the back, eh? He can get a bit hot-headed, bro, but I don't know, maybe he gets a good chance to bring the ball back. He's a really strong runner. But and Latufanu, he's shown some good glimpses, bro, but now he's got to lead the guys around the park. See how his kicking game is, bro. But before the bye last week, I thought the Roosters was fucking on, bro. So I'm picking them. They're pretty solid in the 8 at the moment, or not solid, but the football they've been playing has been of a better standard than what the Tigers been showing. So I'm going to go with the Roosters.
Yeah, and you mentioned Teddy, like he still takes this game very, like that's a big part of who he is. So he still takes this game so seriously. So he's always up. Doesn't matter who he plays, but up a bit more for this. And yeah, since Stace is here for the Counter Ruck listeners, Nawanga Nituase, July 25, he is playing for the Roosters. He is no longer in any Super Rugby teams. As also Joey Nanai maybe telling you guys, he has definitely come across
that ChatGPT stuff. It's old news that he's getting his info from.
So let's just keep everyone up to date and current. All right, final game. We've got only a few games this round, so finishing it out with the Manly Rabbitohs, teams that are traditionally way up. But the way the competition in the NRL competition at the moment, man, the Rabbits are like, fighting off wood and spoon at the moment. Where the draw sits and where they are on the ladder, it's real surprising to see a Bennett-led Rabbitohs as well, sitting down there off the bottom, just above the Titans. And Manly showed glimpses last week. Looked good with Tommy in the center, so I think that's going to work. I like Lehigh; he's been real solid for them. A few, probably only Latrell. So Rabbits are pretty solid. Like I think they're probably outside of Latrell. This is the Rabbits going forward, so should be a good matchup for teams that haven't been really performing. But the way this comp is, 9 more rounds, there could be some movements. Brandon Smith back in as well, so looks like they're gonna trial him out. Name, but he's on 22, so unless someone gets injured in captain's run, I guess he's not actually in the team. Lewis Dodd in the interchange. That experiment hasn't really worked either. I'll go Manly only because of the halves. Humphries has been good too, but Manly just because of Turbo. Stace?
Yeah, tough one. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I just saw that now with Brandon Smith on the extended interchange, but Cody Walker's also on there. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some last minute changes there because both of those guys, in theory, are in their best 17. So it's good to see them if they get picked, getting some troops back because I know they've lost Cam Murray for the whole season. Cody Walker's been in and out and all the rest of it. So if they can get back to their best guys, I actually rate them quite highly. Wayne Bennett coached them. I heard him in a press conference. He said that they've got some mental issues where they don't believe that they're that good. And that's the thing that he's trying to get them to overcome. Because you're right, in my opinion, the team isn't the 16th team. I'm just looking at their roster. Keon's close to Origin. Jai Arrow has played Origin. They've got Cody Walker in there, Jackie Wyden, Campbell Graham. There's some guns in there. They should not be languishing that low. So if they get some self-belief, and that's going to start with winning games. So I'm going to pick Souths to get a win here this week against the Seagulls. I'll go Souths by 12 in that one.
Nice. Sai, how are you seeing this? Is turning into a doozy now.
Yeah, the Brownies have been killing me in my picks, bro. They've lost the last 6 in a row, man, since their eat-ass win against the Broncos.
Don't
when
pick them so they can win.
Latrell.
You're giving them bad
but,
knuckles.
bro, hard. I didn't even think their losses have been that bad. A couple of weeks ago, they just went down 1 point against the Storm. But then last week, bro, their performance against the Dolphins, and they just got sullied by 50 points. It's just hard to pick them, bro. And I'm with Stace. I think Bennett might do one of those switcheroo ones and bring Smith on, as well as Cody Walker. And I think they've missed them heaps, man. Cody Walker, he's been hasn't been consistent. Missing Latrell this week, that's huge. He's been supplying a lot of their tries. So I want to pick the Sea Eagles, who, to be honest, they've been quite Kaea as well, bro. Really inconsistent. I don't think both teams will miss my 8, but Sea Eagles at home should take this in a close game.
Guys, all right. Let's wrap it up with a little multi. Any cheeky little multis there? We can go for a 3-leg multi. We'll kick off with I'll go the Broncos game, and I'll go Broncos win with a Mariner double. Stace,
Nice.
what you got?
Oh, that's quite nice. Just having a look here. I think Sam Walker's due back soon, so there might be some. Who's going to partner him in the halves could be a bit of a shootout there. So I actually quite like Savala there. I think he's going to set up a couple of tries on his side. I think Mark Nawangani is on his edge there. So I'll go for Mark to get a double there in centre.
Mark with the double. No, I need to ask there. I like it. He's going to be paying big time. All right, so and kill our multi.
Nah, bro. I'll bring it home with Maroons a victory next Wednesday.
Yes.
And
I like it.
And I got Shibasaki for try scorer. And just want to remind Stacey, win or lose, let's do a review next Thursday, please.
Might be alone, might be just with yourself else by himself. Doing a solo pod. Yep.
We'll see, mate. We'll
Nice,
see.
boys. Nice little multi there. I like it. Thank you, Usos, for jumping on. Any last words, Dutch? We'll come to you first.
Oh, nothing much, bro. It's school holidays over here, so everyone, all our 5 listeners over here in Australia, enjoy the school holidays with the kids. Big shout out to my mum, who's a big fan of the show. And
nah,
bro. Lofako, we have a good one.
Nice, Us. Stace, you had a very insightful last words last time, so I thought I'd make sure I give you enough time just in case.
Well, they went down like a lead balloon.
They seemed great at the time. Yeah, I loved it.
No, just, obviously Origin coming up, that's the most important thing. Go the Blues. It's just one thing I've noticed just in this year particularly was just some of the cultural differences between New South Wales and Queensland, which has historically been different in my opinion. So you think about when Queensland, when they dropped Cherry Evans, and I thought that was harsh, but they did lose. But then when they dropped Mo from the Titans after a win, these current Queensland players, they must be nervous because they could be dropped at any moment, even if they win. So the thing about Origin, and I brought this up before, I'm a diehard New South Wales fan, and I hate Queensland, but I've always respected them. I've always respected, the Origin folklore. It's full of Queensland underdogs beating a stacked New South Wales team because of the Queensland spirit. But now I've got questions about that Queensland spirit. So if I think about how that Queensland spirit was built, it was sort of like champion players being written off and then pulling on their jersey and showing why they are Origin legends. So Petro was written off. Same as Greg Inglis towards the back end of his career. He was criticised in the past with his injuries. And they pulled on the jersey and showed why they are Origin legends. So for Origin legend like Cherry Evans to get criticised in the media and be written off and not given the opportunity to pull that jersey on and show that Queensland spirit, I thought that was wrong. Pick and stick. What happened to that? All these changes, chopping and changing, that's been a New South Wales sort of thing. And Queenslanders have always sort of lambasted the Blues for sort of chopping and changing and saying, we don't get Origin. We don't have that Queensland type of spirit. So when I see Queensland changing and chopping their selections all the time and New South Wales doing pick and stick, now I wonder about that Queensland spirit, like I said. And it feels like Queensland have moved away from all the things that made them great. And ultimately, they will suffer a heavy defeat because of it. So I'm picking the Blues 44-10. Too big,
we already
too
did
strong,
our picks. This guy wants to come back to
no Queensland spirit. Queensland will lose mainly because they lost their own spirit.
Don't fucking come back on the
No,
show
that's
again.
really you were insightful the last time, and it's insightful again, Stace. I'm glad that you mentioned that you are confused about Queensland and Origin. Like as a Queenslander, it just goes to show New South Wales still do not understand Origin. And I know it's confusing to you guys, but over time you'll start to understand. After next week, you'll probably get a bit more insight into why the world keeps changing.
Just for our listeners, on Thursday I'll be on here just talking to myself. I'll be asking questions and answering them myself as a solo podcast for the 135 Footy Show, because these guys ain't gonna show.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be renaming it the Stace.
I'll put two screens, a mirror up, and I'll just talk to myself.
Episode
what did you think? Yeah, it was good.
Depending on you either have me or you either have Stacey, but not together.
Exactly. Could be two different podcasts. We'll two streams. Thank you for tuning in. Please go check us out, WesWesNet.com. You can see all the other podcasts there, and all the other articles from the Usos. I am off next week, so you'll be left with these two jokers to carry you through Origin. I'm off to Samoa, but I will catch you on the following week. For today, thanks for tuning in.
All the best, Usos. Good trip.
Cheers, Usos.
Cheers, bro. Cheers, Usos.